So hello, I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and today is a celebration call with one of my longtime clients. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. Um,
Absolutely.
we're going to have a great conversation today because we've actually worked together three separate times. We worked together first when her daughter was 3 years old, and we did sleep training from top to bottom in the crib. Great. Got her sleeping, on we go. Then number two baby came along. When that baby was old enough, we sleep trained the son. No problem. Life goes on. So then between the ages of 3 and nearly 8, I don't hear from Jennifer and her husband. So that's what, how many years? That's like 5 years. And then all of a sudden, one day I see them pop up on my phone because I have all my clients on my phone. And I'm like, hey, and why were you calling, mom?
You're like, help. Yeah. We were calling because our daughter had a regression, and we were in a place where she was not able to put herself to sleep. And it was causing quite a bit of impact, within our family, and getting her to bed and getting her to stay asleep at night.
Yeah. So in other words, like we had kind of an interesting situation because technically this child had all her sleep skills, meaning she knows how to self-regulate, she knows how to self-settle, she knows how to self-soothe, she knows how to go to sleep, she knows how to go back to sleep. But all of a sudden, none of the above was happening. And what was replaced was fear around bedtime, anxiety around bedtime, fear in the middle of the night, and being very mommy preferenced and kind of barnacle, the mommy barnacle, like just utterly devastated if mom was not in view,
Mhm.
had to be in view all the time in every, right? Like if you tried to leave the house, that's out
Yeah.
of view. She couldn't handle it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it just kind of started and then it kind of spiraled, and like it started and then it kind of like ended up really started seeping into bedtime and then seeping into the middle of the night. So it was like a slow build a little bit.
It was a very slow build. She had done well going to sleep for quite a while, and then we had noticed, we'd have a little bit of trouble getting her to sleep at night, and then she would, come downstairs in the middle of the night, and we'd have to walk her back up, and then, when she had started in elementary school is where we started seeing quite a bit of difference, and I think that was due to just a lot of change going on with her life, changing schools, and being in kindergarten, being in first grade.
And
Um,
COVID.
Yes, and being out of school for a long period of time. There was just so much change, so many things that were happening in her life. And I feel that her concern around those things came out, in how she was falling asleep or not falling asleep, I should say, and then resting throughout the night. Those stressors were really impacting her sleep schedule.
Exactly. And so that's when Jennifer called and said, okay, we have a regression, but it's not your typical regression of, oops, we went on a vacation, we ended up co-sleeping, and now all she wants is co-sleeping. There was more going on. There was the fear, the anxiety, and also just this neediness of the mommy preference, right? So
She had a lot of anxiety built up, and that's something that we, worked through and talked through, quite a bit, which I didn't even recognize until we really started talking quite a bit, how much her anxiety over going to sleep was truly impacting the entire process of her going to sleep.
exactly. So we did a really thorough assessment. Obviously, dad was involved in all of these conversations. Like this was definitely a family system. And we got Brooke involved in, oh, excuse me, I don't want to say her name. Anyways, we got your daughter involved in all the conversations. So that she understood exactly what we were doing, why we were doing it, that we were working with her, with the team. I was kind of her sleep teacher, sleep coach. I forget, what did she call me? Didn't she call me something? I mean, she knew me as Miss Joanna, but I think she kind of
Yeah,
saw me as like the sleep teacher or something
yeah,
like
sleep
that. Like
teacher. Uh-huh.
she kind of saw me in that role. And so it was very collaborative with her. So there was nothing that was like put upon her or forced upon her. It was very much step by step, day by day integrations that she was highly aware of, that we had co-created with her. And so we are now like, now we reached all our goals. Like, so mom, now tell me what it looks like now.
It's absolutely amazing. So I travel for work here and there, and I recall leaving, and there just being so much fear and anxiety built up to where I would get upset, she would get upset, everybody in the whole house would be upset, and I mean just a complete fear of me being gone, and not being there to put her asleep. I was at a point where I was laying at the end of her bed, and I would quietly get up when she, fell asleep and tiptoe out. I mean, there was times where I would even, just sneak out of the room, hoping that the floor wouldn't creak, and make noise to wake her up. And, all of that, went on for a very long time. And I think a lot of it was my fear of like, how are we going to, get to the place where we need to be, get back to that place where we need to be. And so now, that we've gone through the steps, we've done the process, we've worked with Joanna, we've worked with you, to really uncover, what is going to motivate Brooke, what is going to increase her confidence and going to bed and make her proud of herself. And I think that, she felt so much fear. She was so worried that she couldn't do it, that we had to build that confidence up. We had to build, her self-esteem around knowing that she could go to bed and do it on her own. And now, when I leave for work to go out of town, I get a hug goodbye, I get a mom, I'm going to miss you, and I'll talk to you in just a little while, I'll call you. And there's not fear around what's going to happen at bedtime. It's been such a difference in our lives. And, Brooke is proud of herself. Oops. Yeah. She's so proud of herself. She's so confident. Now when we go to bed, we get ready for bed. We use our sleep manners. We go into the room, we give hugs, we give kisses. She'll sit and read a book too to herself sometimes to settle herself. And she lays down and goes to sleep. And I'm not sitting outside the door, or I'm not sitting in a chair or sneaking out of the room at night. And
this is at 7:30. And this is at 7:30, everyone. I want you to know. So again, 8, she's almost 8. So what grade is she in? Second grade?
Huh?
Yeah. So, those of you that have older children that are like, oh my gosh, it's too late. I just have a bad sleeper. I just have to like lay down with her every night. This is just my life. The answer is no, it doesn't have to be your life, because this child now happily goes to bed, lights out at 7:30. She's asleep by 8. And mom says that on the weekdays, sometimes she actually has to wake her up in order to go to school, because she's willing to like literally sleep like 11 to 12 hours at night. Whereas before she was having early rising and always up and out the door and wandering down the hallway and finding, going to the bedroom, the master bedroom and stuff. So we've got a child now that is like confident, loves her bed, has a bedtime routine she likes, sleeping 11.5 to 12 hours all night long. And then you told me how it's changed her demeanor. So you told me in the morning, what is she like in the morning?
Waking up excited and happy and just ready for her day. She's well rested. We're all well rested, which has been an amazing experience to get to this point.
Yeah. And also no drama anymore. No barnacle like behavior with mom. You just told me that you just went out with your girlfriends last night for a girlfriend's dinner. And all you had to do is say, okay, I'm going out to dinner with my friends. I'll be back. And she goes, okay.
Yep. Exactly.
And then you went on a business trip and it was like, okay.
Yep.
And then you did 2 other things that were like your goals on your list that recently that went well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, she was able to stay over at her grandparents' house and have a fun slumber party. And everyone was able to be rested and not exhausted at the end of the day, or waking up in the morning. She did great with that. And she's having her first real slumber party this weekend, and we can't wait for her to be able to experience that little milestone in life.
So you can see, you guys, it's never too late. So when you think that people like, again, now you've been this through 3 times at all different ages, all different stages, male, female, one boy, one girl. Like if you met a mom that was just totally, or met some parents that just had, had been struggling with sleep and their child was between the ages of 6 months and 10 years of age, Like, what do you want to tell them about sleep training and sleep coaching and finding the right coach to support them?
Yeah. Having the right coach and having a coach walk us through this process was completely game changing for us. When we, years ago, when we first called Joanna, I had in the back of my mind that, I should know this. Like, I'm a mom. I should know how to do this. And it takes a village and it takes help. And you have to reach out and ask for help and know that there's so many great resources, so many processes that have been proven, and techniques that can be used. And as a mom, you don't need to know everything, and it's okay to reach out for help. And it's okay to know that, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and it will get better. You will get sleep. I promise you'll get sleep eventually. And we're getting sleep now. And I've just got to say that, Joanna, we greatly appreciate you. You've been there for us and our babies, for years, through different regressions, and given us the tools, to really be able to give them, the sleep that they need, for them to be, successful in school and successful in their day, and confident. And everything, and this again, it trickles over to other things in their life, where they're building confidence and around. So we greatly appreciate it.
Good. Yeah. Because your life gets easier as a parent too, right? So, you're able now to go on the business trip without guilt. You're able to now go out to dinner with your girlfriends without guilt. Dad is saying, fine, go out with your girlfriends because these kids are so easy to take care of now. I'm happy to be in the house. I'm going to put these kids to bed. And now I have a quiet house for a couple hours while you're out. And that was never the case. Whenever you left, Dad was kind of left with a mess. And so now he can leave, he can enjoy a quiet house while the kids are sleeping, and you get to go out and see some friends, or vice versa. He can go out with his guy friends and you can have a quiet house because both kids are going to sleep at 7:30 at night. I mean, it just opens up a whole world of possibility. And like you said, it takes a village, and that as a mom, we have this perception that we've got to figure it all out on our own, or that just our immediate circle is going to be enough to provide the insight to help us solve things. And the reality is that, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you're in your own world and then you're only asking your friend or your grandma or your best friend, but they're all doing the same thing that you're doing, like you're still all
works for us.
right. Like you're still stuck inside your own vacuum. You don't know all this knowledge that's sitting on the periphery ready to be accessed. Right. And I think that reaching out to talk to a coach is just not a scary thing, because you always, as a parent, you want to know what your options are. And the good news is that for a lot of families, they think that if they have an older child, there's no options. But there's absolutely, sleep is a learned skill. We can teach the skills of sleep to any child. I tend to work with children up to age 10. Some people will say, but what if my child is 12, 13, 14, 15? That can also be taught. I can refer you to people that need that. But, as they get older, some of this fear, anxiety, and stuff starts young, and it gets stickier and stickier and stickier and stickier. So parents that ignore it at the young age end up with the stickier. And so you kind of knew, you're like, no, we don't need to keep this going, that we need to get the support now, so she doesn't have to keep having that feeling anymore. So thank you for trusting me.
Yeah.
All these years, we've
Yeah.
got, I guess we've got like, let's see, 8 minus 3 is 5. So 5 years we've known each other 3 times. So thank you to you and your husband for trusting me.
You.
I'm so happy that you're a part of the well-rested revolution.
We are very well rested now in this house. That is
you.
absolutely for sure.
Thank you.